Rumor mill, Shopify is going to spend over $2 billion on a tech acquisition to bolster their fulfillment capabilities. Does that make sense? This is interesting. So Shopify has been talking about their aspirations to really go after their own fulfillment solution. We were just talking about Walmart's fulfillment growth. And Shopify has also been talking about this. Ben Thompson had an article, a couple months ago doing a good job talking, kind of highlighting some of what Shopify's been speaking about here. So back in 2019 is really when Shopify started to talk about the Shopify fulfillment network. Customers want their online purchases fast with free shipping. It's now expected thanks to the recent standards set by the largest companies in the world, Amazon. Working with third-party logistics companies can be tedious, and finding a partner that won't obscure your customer data or hide your brand with packaging is a challenge. Also, Amazon. This is why we're building Shopify Fulfillment Network, a geographically dispersed network of fulfillment centers with smart inventory allocation technology, right? Kind of helping you figure out this is where you should put your product because this is where we can project your customers ordering from, right? So you're kind of intelligently forward placing inventory so you can do quick, cheap fulfillment, or faster and cheaper fulfillment is the idea. We use machine learning to predict the best places to store and ship your products so they can get to your customers as fast as possible. We've negotiated low rates with a growing network of warehouse and logistics providers. UPS is a big partner for Shopify. We support multiple channels, custom packaging and branding, and it's all managed in Shopify, right? Cool. So that brings us to then really just 3 years later, and actually just a couple months ago on Shopify's earnings call, Shopify has moved away from this vision. The Shopify Fulfillment Network is not going to be a platform like the Shopify App Store, but rather, which is more decentralized, but rather an integrated part of Shopify's core offering like Shop Pay. President Harley Finkelstein explained on the call, we are consolidating our network to larger facilities. We will operate more of them ourselves. We'll unify the warehouse management software. Right? So they're kind of bringing this more in-house, making this more of a value-added service offered by Shopify as opposed to a kind of network model of a bunch of third parties that is more fragmented, right? And what they're speaking, right? Everyone's got different software. Stuff might get lost. The tracking might not all be correct, right? We've all kind of had some of those issues. I know I have with some Shopify orders coming through. I still get it, but it's just not as dialed in. Whereas if you were to streamline it and manage it more in-house. So they've started to do this. Now, a couple months later, actually hasn't been announced, it's been rumored. Shopify is in talks to buy tech startup Deliverr. Could be a $2+ billion deal. The interesting thing with Deliverr is Deliverr actually started working like Walmart was one of Deliverr's biggest customers. I remember years ago seeing Deliverr and Walmart team up to help with some last mile fulfillment, these kinds of things. Deliverr helps merchants on Amazon, eBay, and other online marketplaces get products to consumers in 2 days or less. They use analytics to predict where people might be interested in buying, right? It uses that information to position items in its warehousing network to achieve swift delivery. All similar things we just heard Shopify talking about now for like 3 years. Deliverr's already working with Shopify. They're already, here's Walmart, boom, right in the middle. I was saying they worked with Walmart from the early days. I mean, that play is really more so to the actual small merchant, right? To kind of say, hey, use Deliverr. You can handle fulfillment on all these different places. Now wanting to bring this capability in-house and then offer this as a service to Shopify's merchants. Makes a ton of sense when you look at the dots, right? From 3 years ago to a couple months ago to this. Still asset light, right? Deliverr isn't owning warehouses, right? But it's really that technology layer to help coordinate, bring intelligence, and then offer all the tools to merchants, and then down to the different constituents within the fulfillment solution. Shopify also is making its own investments, more asset-heavy investments. The Shopify deal, if it goes through, is another great example of something we've talked about on the show before, which are these middle market tech companies that can use M&A to accelerate their growth, unlike the large tech monopolies, right, that have had at least one or maybe both hands tied behind their back to do tech M&A. And now you're seeing the middle market tech competitors like Shopify use tech M&A to accelerate growth. If this deal goes through, another great example of what we call our SUS companies. You got Salesforce in there buying Slack. You got Etsy in there buying a couple deals. Go check. You got Uber in there buying a couple companies. You got Spotify doing interesting things. So few companies we highlight in our SUS category, Shopify being one of those, using tech M&A to do some interesting things and accelerate growth. I like this, frankly. What does every marketplace need? Also applies to e-commerce, but what does every marketplace need once they get to a certain level of scale? What are the two key value-added services that every marketplace needs? Payments, financing, and shipping. Shopify has Shop Pay. Now they're going to have Shop Ship. If you like these videos about Shopify and Amazon, we've chronologed Shopify's different platform businesses versus their linear businesses. Go check out those videos. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, but really just go follow us on Gab.